to MoneyXclusive, where we spotlight real stories, simplify money talks, and we make smarter decisions for your wallet. Today on this episode, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Anna and I am your host, and we are on our third episode. So this is a very exciting time for us. Today we are going to talk about investments, but not in the traditional sense, because we are going into investing in Malaysia, but at a fraction of a cost. Joining us today, we have from CGS Securities Malaysia is Mr. Khairi Shahrin Arief Baki. Hello.
Hello, Anna.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to MoneyX office. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me here today.
Yeah, and I think you come with a wealth of experience. The fact that you have been in MIDF, you've been in JP Morgan. I think it's very exciting now that you are now part of the fintech space, right? And today CGS is going to showcase what UP is all about, because UP is a new launch that they did in April. It's a one-of-a-kind investment where Malaysians can invest at a fraction of a cost. And we will dive deep into what UP is going to provide, as well as how you can make smarter decisions with UP and MoneyX. So, Khairi, I think it's great to get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
And you are the Deputy CEO of CGS Securities Malaysia, and coming from banking and also from institutional sales. Now that you're in fintech, how did you get into it? I think what really attracts you into this very interesting portfolio?
All right. Thanks, Anna. A bit of background. I mean, people would see me, that I've spent my career in insti sales, in investment bank. But I actually started as a customer service for 7 months. So that's my first job after I graduated. And then I joined the industry, and for the first 3 to 5 years in the industry, I covered a wide range from retail, corporate, and then only I moved to the insti side. And in fact, back in 2018, when I moved to IV Cap, the subsidiary of Value Cap, it's ETF, which is more retail related as well, on the ETF side. And after that, actually, before I joined CGS, you mentioned about MIDF, I was there to build their first ever app to invest in the stock market. So for 2 years, it's slightly more than 2 years, we developed the app from zero, from scratch. We built the team, we built the whole digital, and then the whole thing itself. So it's not really an alien thing. I've done retail, I've done some ETFs on the buy side, and then as I say, before I joined CGS, actually that 2 years, I was leading a digital team, and we built an app, and it's all about the whole architecture of a fintech, actually, start of a fintech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that means you have been very attracted to fintech, and then the fact that you get to build an app from scratch, I think this is then something that is going to use your experience as well.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's very exciting, and I think maybe let's talk about a little bit about UP, because UP is also on our MoneyX platform. Yeah. And I would like to know more about UP in the sense that what is the surprising thing about UP when you started this app, because what makes it so different for UP, and what makes you wanted to launch this app to the world in this sense?
So at the very beginning, we saw there's a gap, right? I mean, the COVID time, people took really big interest in investing because everyone was at home and things like that. But there's a gap in the sense that not everyone still can invest. Okay, there's still a barrier to it, right? I'll take KLCI for example, right? We consume, or all of us knows Nestle, for example. All the products, the Kit Kat, the Milos,
the Milo, the Milo
we grew up with all the Nestle products, right? But for someone who wants to invest in a Nestle shares in KLCI, right? Or in the Bursa at 70 ringgit. So I just take the share price plus minus. So we just take 70 ringgit of Nestle. Someone has to have, how much is that? 7,000 ringgit just to buy 100 shares, which is the one lot, right, of Bursa. So when you go down to the street, when you ask first time investor, when you ask uni students or anyone who's a beginner, right? 7,000 just to buy, just to start invest, because you know the product very well, and usually that's how you start invest into products that you know, right, or business that you know. But you can't, right? I mean, to many 7,000 is a lot of money. So hence, that's one point to look at how up come into the picture, and then actually, fractional shares. It is not something alien to the industry as well. It's just that it hasn't been done in Malaysia. All right, especially in Bursa. So we were the first. No one can do fractionalized investing in Bursa. And then we also look at from the angle where some apps very difficult to maneuver and very hard to understand, and for the beginner is very with all the jargons and everything. So when we look at all these gaps in the market, like where can we position ourselves with something new, that's where up came into the picture. When we see we can fractionalize it, we can simplify the process, and I think a bit cliche, but now everyone can invest actually. Yeah,
I think that's very interesting, and I think I'm very curious about the process because you for your team, you being the first one to do fractional shares, and there's so many investing platforms, there's so many trading platforms. Was it very difficult to get that approval to be the first one to do it Bursa?
Yeah. Yes and no. Okay. First, yes, in the sense that, to get the approvals, to work with Bursa and SC. But I would say the regulators have been very supportive, right? Because they also understand. But it's just that no one, came out with this kind of product before. It's like, how do we, democratize the whole thing, right? And then say someone can just invest as low as 10 ringgit or 5 ringgit.
Right.
And as I mentioned again, in Bursa, in KLCI, you just can't do that, right? Not with the traditional platforms and everything. So hence, as I said, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that they have been supportive, but it has been quite a journey. It's not a straightforward case. We started from a few years back, and then what we have done, at least because we are a regional company, right? So we actually launched it first in Singapore last year, and then because Singapore is a smaller market, just to test out how it works. And actually, Singapore already have the offering of Bursa, and then from there we learn whatever that we need to mistakes or whatever issues that we have, we fix it, and then like you mentioned just now, we launched it here in Malaysia in April.
Good to test your neighbor. To test your neighbor. By the way, we do have a Singapore version of CGS here. I think you have very little collectibles here. Maybe you could just story a little bit because I see this really cute mascot.
Yes, we have all these. This is slightly bigger mascot we have here, our soft toy, and then we have all these mini figurines. Okay, so some story, a background story about it is like previously we were known as CGS CIMB, right? And it's quite a well-known name. CIMB is is a bank across the region. But we did a rebranding exercise when CGS took over and bought over 100% of the company. So early last year, we did a rebranding and we became CGS International, our group. And when we do that at the group level, we also thought that this is a very nice mascot for the group. Even in China we use this one. We thought that because we have different markets, like different countries with different cultures, right? And how to differentiate ourselves from one another. So the team, we were very hard. We come up with all these figurines.
I think they are from
various
different countries.
Indonesia, Thailand, and then Singapore, Korea, Malaysia.
This is
the China one, I believe.
Oh, that's the China one. Okay, the dragon. Okay, that makes sense. And then Malaysia is just right there.
Yes, this is Malaysia side.
Baju Melayu.
A bit more with the tengkolo and a nice baju Melayu with the buttons and then the something there.
Super cute.
So we make it, we localize it. So,
can we buy them? Because I want to collect them and then put it in my house.
Not sure we are really selling it, but I think we can think about how to make it part of our promotion for people who actually invest with us or open an account with us. That could something that we could look into.
Maybe like a giveaway on Instagram and subscribe, and then you get one of these.
I mean, all these things are quite popular nowadays, right? With all the shops that.
I know. I think this is the latest craze, right? I talk about Labubu. People should be spending more money in investment than investing in all these Labubus. I don't know, but it's like a resale resale value or anything. But I think, so invest in these toys, okay? I think these are like astronauts because I think
the whole galaxy, CGS, it stands for, from China Galaxy Securities. So a bit of a history is galaxy means because it's a combine of 4 or 5 companies when CGS started. So 4 or 5 companies, they said a galaxy, so like a number of companies. So hence the name, and because the galaxy, so we have a astronaut here.
So since Guardians of the Galaxy is patented, do you have like maybe a different name? Maybe it's
I know I'm so sorry, there's a Chinese. We do have some of the names for it.
Hopefully we'll find out maybe that's like an Avengers version. Right? I think that's very exciting to see that there's an appeal to young people with your collectibles, and also the way that it showcases. And I think I'm really curious with the traction, like how you've been going to roadshows to universities. How's the response like? Are more people more keen to invest now that you can buy Nestle even at 1 ringgit?
Yes, So thanks for mentioning that, Anna. I mean, up to to touch base on the app, we can invest as low as 1 ringgit. So you open an account. If you only have 1 ringgit today, you can still invest.
So the nasi lemak, I don't buy nasi lemak. I just
but nasi lemak is 150 or 2 ringgit nowadays,
so
right?
These days, man.
So at 1 ringgit you can invest. In other words, there's no reason why you can't invest anymore. I mentioned about barrier of entry just now. On a normal KLCI Bursa, to buy a Nestle, it will cost 7,000 ringgit for 100 lots. Today, you can buy as low as 1 ringgit, but just to a bit of a to compare with sake, at 7 ringgit, if you spend 7 ringgit to buy a Nestle, right? You will get a fraction of the share. So that's what fractional investing is all about. While 70 ringgit is 1 share, so you invest at 7 ringgit, what do you get? You get 0.1 shares of Nestle, right? So again, you become a shareholder. You're already investing in a company. It's a big global company.
So like I go to an AGM and
so, well, you can't, right?
I need to buy 1 share.
You have to buy 1 share. But it's a step, right? It's a first step for any beginners. You mentioned about the universities and the colleges that we went to. The students. I mean, I believe every single one has a smartphone now, right? And app based, so you can just download the app. Everything is easy. That's what they want. Nobody wants to go somewhere, filling up forms and do a wet signature and do all those things. They want it fast. They want it easy.
Correct.
So ours is all app based, right? So just download the app, register within 5 minutes. Some maybe a bit slow, take a bit longer than 5 minutes, but within 5 minutes by right. Especially if you're students, usually you're considered like a low risk, so you don't have any issues, and straight away you can put in your money. After that, register your bank, put in your money, and you can start to invest. And as I say, a cup of coffee, how much is it? Like 10, 12 ringgit, 20 ringgit.
Luckin has buy 1 free 1, so it's probably cheaper.
But sometimes even it's buy 1 free 1, I think for probably like say 10 ringgit, right? Just a 10 ringgit. Right. So buy 1 free 1 is 5 ringgit each cup. Now with app, you can invest with as low as just to start with 1 ringgit, right? So again, as I said, there's no reason why. It's a simple app. We don't use all the financial jargons and all. We simplify things.
I think I'm just curious because it sounds too good to be true. Sometimes it's just 1 ringgit. Like, is there any additional charge? Sometimes people be like, it's SST, things like that.
I mean, whatever charges from the from the regulator or the government side, unfortunately, you still have to charge. But it's zero brokerage. For us. I'm not saying it's going to be forever, but it is part of our promotion.
So take advantage, guys.
Yes, zero brokerage. I mean 1 ringgit, we just want to show that you can go as low as that, right? But again, on your daily spending, on your monthly spending, by right, you should definitely put a portion of your salary if it's you're working. If you're a student, you still have some pocket money, right? I mean, it's just about managing your own finances. And I don't think putting aside 50 or 100 ringgit a month. I mean, students nowadays they're quite lavish lah, put it that way, right? 50 or 100 ringgit a month, and do it consistently. it's not a problem. And why I mentioned about consistent, this is a process of how you want to invest, right? And on the app, we have these regular saving plans.
Yes, I'm very curious because I actually downloaded the app and I actually play it around. You have like a lot of other things other than just fractional trading.
Yeah. So first of all, it's fractional, right?
Yeah.
And then you can set as a regular saving plan, whether every week, every 2 weeks, every month, it will auto invest. You know, you choose again. Let's use Nestle, for today's investment, right? So for example, you put aside 50 ringgit or 100 ringgit a month to invest, and you put Nestle as a your investment. So every month you buy Nestle and they give good dividends. So you own a fraction of the share, and if you buy at 100 ringgit a month, you own slightly more than say 1.4 shares of Nestle every month, and you do it consistently, whether a month or every 2 weeks. It all depends on your preference, and it will automatically do a dollar cost averaging, which is a good way of investing as well. As the market goes up and down, they're volatile, but if you continue to invest every week or every month, or every 2 weeks, it will give you the dollar cost averaging automatically. So it is a very good tool that we have, that people just have to explore further.
Okay, so that makes it sound like it's very easy for investors. You have your 1 ringgit, you have a regular savings plan.
Yes.
And I think for MoneyX users, who are interested in investing, then you can also do through the MoneyX and then invest straight into UP.
Yep.
And I think for me, I have played around. I think it's very user friendly. You have gone a lot of effort to just make it seamless.
The whole idea is to make it seamless, to simplify the whole process, because people can invest in a big amount of money and then use a different platform if they want. It's up to them. But where we look is for the beginners, for people who feels that 500 ringgit or 1,000, or we talked about Nestle just now, 7,000 ringgit to start is way too high, right? The barrier of entry. But here, they don't have any of those. It's easy for you to use. A low amount of money. You mentioned seamless. We make it very easy to understand how to use it. And then even if you say, I don't have time, well, it's a one-off. You just set it, and then as long as you have money inside your bank, and you can link it, and it'll be an auto investment for you through the regular saving plans.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's very interesting to see, and very exciting for our young investors in the future. I would like to go towards more about investment opportunities, because I think we talk about KLCI and Malaysian stocks, and lately there has been a lot of news. We are very familiar with the Iran war, and also we have a lot of US elections. I think elections all around the world, so a lot of geopolitical issues at the moment. I think, how does this affect KL climate, and do you think this would shake investors' sentiments? And for young investors, what should their take be on this? Like, should they be affected by this, or does it matter?
I mean, there's a war that's going on now, unfortunately, and then there's a tariff announcement in April, by the US side, and there have been war in Ukraine and then Russia for the past few years. There was COVID, 5 years ago. The market will correct itself. There's corrections all the time, on the ups and downs. But it has always been a growth story, right? Let me take from the bigger picture first, and then it comes down to Malaysia. We'll take the global, and the benchmark is always the global MSCI, or if you look at the US S&P 500, which is a good indicator, even though it's US, but the companies in there are very much global companies. Whether it's Google, whether it's Apple, and all those same, they're not really US based. The market is globally, right? It's global. So when you look at S&P 500, the last 30 years average is about 9 to 11% annual growth. So I'm talking about average here. There will be certain years it comes down, there's certain years it go about 20-30%, but on average it's about 9 to 11%, right? Meaning if you have been investing in the last 30 years, and you will make about 9 to 11% on average every single year, right? And if you look the last 5 years since the COVID, again, if I look at S&P as a global benchmark, I think their growth, if I'm not mistaken, is about 400%. So not many, not property, not any other investments where it's a passive one. You just buy and you don't have to do much, and it will grow to 400% in the last 5 years. And then going down to Malaysia, because our app right at the moment offering the KLCI 30.
Yeah.
So they cannot invest in all 1,000 stocks in Bursa, but we focus on the KLCI. Why KLCI? If you ask me, is the quality names there. All right, you won't be in the KLCI if you're not a quality company. All right, there's a certain criteria for you to be in the KLCI. Yes. So for us to give that kind of comfort, get that kind of so-called safety net, right, to the beginners. Don't go into all the speculative names and all the, I would say, stocks that is not stable or companies that not doing very well. But look at KLCI first. That's how you start, and then as I say, people say, oh, but KLCI stocks is expensive. Tenaga is 13 ringgit, Digi Celcom is 4 ringgit or whatever. We talk about Nestle 70 ringgit. It doesn't matter. With fractional, you can buy any. You can buy at 1 ringgit, you can buy at 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit.
Easy to get in.
Easy to get in, right? Okay, on the market itself, yes, there's always been all these, geopolitical risks and all, but for the time being, you can look inwards into Malaysia companies that provide business in Malaysia. It's not export based, right? I mean, look at the telco. Where's their base? The likes of Telecom. It's Malaysia, right? You look at Tenaga. They provide electricity for Malaysians, right? I wouldn't mention any of the banks' names, but in general, the banks as well, with our GDP about 4.5%, that means there's growth there. Whenever there's a GDP growth, economic growth, the banks will do well. So you can invest in the banks' names also in the KLCI 30. So there are still a lot of names. And in fact, when people say, oh yeah, but I need to diversify. Well, yeah, but when you're a beginner, you shouldn't diversify too much. If you buy out of 30 names, you probably want to buy 3 to 5 stocks, and that's fine. Don't go until 10 or more than that. Just start with a small one and then focus on the investments that you have, rather than diversify too much. So yeah, to answer your question, it's not a problem. Of course, the best time to invest was 10 years ago. When's the second best time? Is today.
So
to start now,
must
right?
Start now,
yeah, you must start now. You invest consistently, so it doesn't matter where the price goes up and down, as long as the company is good. There's economic growth in Malaysia, as I mentioned. Most of the names, if it's just domestic centric and not export based, it should be fine. Shouldn't have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khairi. I think you talk about diversifying these stocks, and I think that is good for investors to hear, because I think a lot of investors, they are always so afraid. They want to invest in every other stock to make sure that they don't miss out, or they don't have this fear of missing out in this case.
Yeah.
So it's good advice that is 3 to 5 stocks is what they should be.
Yeah, for beginner, that should be fine. For them to understand how to invest, and and when you invest, actually, you're buying a piece of the company.
Correct.
So you should know the company and the business that you are investing in, right? So it's about a learning process. I'm not saying that you can't invest more. I mean, or diversify with other companies, but step by step. I think that's a better way.
And then
to
they'll gain confidence in the market, and they probably put more. Then we'll look forward. Maybe they'll invest. We can finally buy one Tenaga share, or maybe one Nestle share.
We even have the research there. When we simplify our research, our award-winning research. We have a strong team, if not the biggest team in town, actually, in terms of our research, both from the fundamental, from the all these covers on the fundamental side, fundamental analysis, but as well on the retail. Usually they use more technical analysis also. We also have that, and it's a very good product, I would say, in terms of for people to understand and to learn about investment through our research. And having said that, we also have all these webinars, and then as I mentioned just now, we do road shows. We connect with the universities and the colleges, not just in KL but outside of KL as well. We go as far as if you know UUM Sinto, probably 5-10 minutes from the border in up north. We also go down south, to the places in Johor or Malacca as well. Especially in Johor. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably take some time and maybe goes to some places in the East Malaysia as well, right? Which we should, and the response has been quite good. So yeah, something that we just should continue.
I think it's great that you're going nationwide, and even we also have some workshops with CGS in the past few weeks or so. And I think it's very exciting. We have university students also coming.
Yes.
Recently, we just had some UM Bursa Young Investors Club.
That's good.
Yeah, so we had our CGS. CGS, you guys were there too. So we were very exciting, and the young investors are very excited as well.
Good,
I think more importantly, we would like to know what's upcoming for UP.
Okay.
Pun intended, but
upcoming for UP.
Upcoming for UP. So, what would be the things that we should look forward to now that you're giving fractional shares in KLCI, you have regular savings plans now?
Yeah. I think that's also whatever that we already have is really new to the market, right? I mean, no one has done the fractional shares, especially for Bursa. We take that step. Regular savings plan before this, I think is done by the robo advisors on the investment on ETFs and things like that. So I believe we were not the first one, then we're definitely one of the first few to offer regular savings plan for Bursa stocks. Okay, and then what we have in mind is that apart from the 30 Bursa stocks, which I said this KLCI is the best company in Malaysia, and that's why they're the top 30 in the KLCI index. We also be looking those outside of KLCI would be the ETFs, because that buying an ETF is already straight away diversify your investment, right? When you buy a ETF of 30 companies, 50 companies, or even 100 companies, so just buying one ETF, you're already diversifying your risk or your investment. So we are looking into that, to add ETFs, also to add high dividend yield stocks. So that also will be a good way of people, to invest. I mean, you put your money in some other investment, you get good dividends. But what are the type of investment that you can liquid, high dividend, and fractionalize? So that's where we come from. You tick all these boxes that to make it very easy, and at the same time get a very good yield, in terms of your investment. That's for Bursa in Malaysia. But we also have plans to offer other stocks outside of Malaysia as well. As I say, we take things step by step. We want users to familiar, and then our team also to settle down. Not the frontliners, but also at on the back end or the support staff. But yeah, I mean, the two biggest market will be the likes of US and Hong Kong that we'll be looking at, and those will be very exciting times when we can offer the US and Hong Kong in ringgit, and fractionalize it, and you can invest as low as RM1 in like the big names in the US, the likes of Apple, the likes of Google.
So really, I can invest RM1 in Apple. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's the plan.
Yeah.
That is the plan, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what we want is to have access, right? For Malaysians to have the access at a very low price, and that everyone can get a piece of it. So it's no longer a high entry barrier.
Okay. I think that's very exciting times for CGS. Looking forward to have this in our MoneyX app. And then on a closing note, I think one final advice you would like to give to our investors out there, even for season ones, from all the years of experience that you had, what is the one financial advice that they should take away to simplify their finance and multiply their wealth?
Okay. Maybe I break into three different groups.
Okay,
you can't one size fits all, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with the beginners. As we we've been discussing that this UP app is very good for the beginners. Very easy to use and everything. So that's done. What you need to do is take action. You have to start now. You have to start today, even with the lowest amount of money that you have, and you have to do it consistently. Start young is one thing. Doing it consistently is another. Of course, learn from your mistakes. Not everyone can invest in everything and make money all the way, right? There'll be some time where you lose money, or you made a wrong decision.
Yeah.
Learn from it, and always learn. Whether at the age of 20, whether at the age of 30 or 40, is a learning process. There's always something new for you to learn all the time. That's for the beginners. For the seasoned players, they can look at this app as a way for them to connect with their family members, with their friends. So if someone who is in their a seasoned, probably in their 40s or 50s, right? But they have a teenager who is 18 years old in college. So this is a way where, look, I downloaded this app, I'm using this. Why don't you, tell the teenagers, their children to use the same app as well, and then they can mirror each other. But of course, everyone has their own account, has their own phone, so.
Yeah.
And then at the same time give them a freedom to, maybe the children like the different types of stocks than the parents, right? But it's a way for you to teach young, you talk about something personal. I do that with my children, even though, my eldest is not even 18 yet, he's only 16, but it's always good to start young and, get them involved and for them to understand. And sometimes some of the questions my children, they learn a lot, right, from YouTubes and all these things. They will ask, how much is your net worth, Daddy? And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell.
But sensitive question.
I know, but the fact that is my son, not the 16-year-old, the 9th and 11-year-old,
okay.
ask about my net worth. They understand the word, so it's always good to start young. Of course, they cannot invest yet, but I already told my 16-year-old, like, the moment you turn 18, I'll show you how to invest, because he can open his own account and all, right? And, it's nothing wrong just to buy the basic stock, just to get involved.
Yes.
So for the parents, I mean, the seasoned players, they already probably have their own platforms, their investments everywhere, but why they should use this so that they can work side by side with their children, especially if they're in college or they just started working, and then just say, hey, look, this is a good way, you can do a regular savings plan. Because if you start at the age of 20s, even though it's a small amount, right, a few hundred ringgit a month or something like that, it can take you very, very far, in 30 years, as compared to someone who's just starting at the age of 30 or 40, and you put a bigger amount of money, you probably, end up the same as someone who just started as low as 100 or 200 ringgit. But consistent is the word. So for season, not much, just for them to share this or, use this together with their family members. But for the younger ones,
Okay.
This is the app.
I think that's a very exciting thing. I like how you gave a family angle to it. I think for some people like us, maybe those who are unmarried or still single, I think even they can find a lot of benefits even through ours.
Truly.
I think the fact that some stocks are really above 100 ringgit. I don't know whether I'll be able to afford a Nestle at this point, like 100 lots.
Well, you definitely can afford it with
100 shares now. I definitely can afford it. So, this gives me the assurance in that sense.
Yes,
I think with that, this wraps up our podcast for today. And thank you so much, Khairi, for
Anna.
being
Thank you
with us
for
at
having
MoneyX. And ladies and gentlemen, it's just a pleasure to have this exciting podcast with you guys. And I hope you find it as eye-opening as I did. So with that, I think it's good to share a little bit of promotion, and we always save the best for last. And that CGS and MoneyX is having a promotion where if you sign up through MoneyX, you get 10 ringgit rewards, and that is the 10 ringgit cash reward. And if you deposit a minimum of 50 ringgit into UP, you also get 10 ringgit worth of free shares. Wow, that's actually a damn good deal. Sorry, mind my language. I think they're going to censor that. So I would say that is a really, really good deal. And I think that for all the investors out there, you get up to 20 ringgit worth of free rewards just by signing up. So it's a very exciting time.
Yes.
I think with CGS, you have zero brokerage, you have regular savings plan that's easy to enter, and the fact that you have 1 ringgit, you can just invest with just that amount of money, and you can multiply your finance in that manner. I think with that, we want to say it's a very, very exciting time for UP. And don't forget to like and subscribe to MoneyX Global and to know more about us and to have more podcasts like this coming up. So my name is Anna and this is Khairi. We hope to see you more often and join us. And please stay tuned for more episodes like this. See ya!